Well, great morning. It is Saturday, the 28th of December. I've had a few questions. People have said they are liking the philosophical talks. Um, so I've had two questions, and I'll get into both of those today. Um, the first question, which I'm not going to answer right now, but it's going to be upcoming in another video today, is about the right way of parenting. And this is from somebody that lives in India. So, okay. I guess after the last thing that I had talked about, they're asking about parenting. So I will get into that today. The other one is, I'm going to read the thing from Linda. Thanks, Linda. I love these kind of conversations. What is your take on this subject of we enter this earth plane voluntarily, choose our families, and have a general idea of the life we wish to live while here? Okay. And she says, personally, I've developed the philosophy that everyone I see is just me wearing a different mask, that we're all given varying opportunities throughout our journey through life to make it or break it. I've been wealthy, I've been poor, but I've always lived within my means. I try to have a good attitude and make the best of my situation, whatever that may be. Okay, so let's get into this. Yes, when we pass out of form, okay, we go to the other side. There's a review many times of what you've done, what you haven't done. Like I said, you go with people of like consciousness on the other side. Now, a lot of times, yes, people are choosing different things that need to be worked on, experienced, so that they can have a broader understanding. But then again, there are those, if you're driven by really strong passions, that are drawn back into a body form very quickly. Okay, they are not making the choice. And sometimes the Tibetan Buddhism will speak on this, that some people leave, they talk about the Tibetan Book of the Dead, some people leave the form, and, you know, again, their passions are, they're driven, their drivings pull them back into a type of a similar situation, okay? So it's not always that people have chosen their life. Sometimes, again, karma will pull them into a situation, not of their own choosing, you know, like if you have been very wealthy and you've demeaned the poor, then in another life experience, you're going to have to face being poor and being demeaned. You know, you have to you have to learn your lessons, and either you'll get it and you'll learn the lesson, or you'll continue to rebel against it and you'll continue to have these types of manifestations. Okay. So yeah, it's not always that we choose the family that we are born into, or the experiences that we're going to have. Now, sometimes, you know, it seems like you're born into a thing and you're facing really, really difficult things, and you think that it's bad karma. Now, I can talk about the experience here, okay? That I was in, have been a spiritual path for many, many lifetimes, was a monk, was told about this ceremony, the chode. I had no idea what that was. And in this lifetime, I had these dreams of that lifetime. Okay, I had no idea what a chode ceremony was in this lifetime. Okay, but I had that very specific dreams that were coming, and they were, not the usual typical type of a dream thing. It was very, very real. And I had seen that in that last lifetime, I was, I took a kind of cavalier, this is why I say you don't take Kundalini, you don't take these things cavalier, because there is madness and death that really does happen. Well, in that lifetime, I thought it was very symbolic. Yeah, let's do it. It's symbolic, yada yada. No big deal, no big whoop. I can imagine this. Well, no, it becomes very real. And in the chode ceremony, you're inviting the hungry ghosts to feed on your flesh, develop compassion, etc. Well, it became very real, and I lost my mind in that lifetime. I was not able to complete it. I mean, stark raving mad. Okay. That's why I say you don't take these things lightly. Okay. And so in this lifetime, and the reason that opened up, that I saw what had happened there, was because in this lifetime I was going through a multitude of rapes. Okay. My place was broken into. I was homeless. I was in the military. I mean, it was just one after another, after another, after another. And once enough to really, cause severe PTSD and severe problems. Well, this happened again and again and again and again. And it's like, what was I, a mass rapist? I mean, I was really depressed. I was, freaking out. I couldn't enter a building. I had to be with my back against a wall. I had to see everything around me. I was like, but what I had seen was that this was an ongoing, I couldn't deal with it, with that path in that lifetime. And it became, it's basically the same thing, hungry ghosts feeding on your flesh, and it became more concrete in this lifetime. So it was a continuation of what I had started then. It wasn't due to bad karma. It wasn't due to, it was, again, getting a handle on what I needed to see, what I needed to go through and, in the end, okay, everything completed. Okay, I was able to get a handle on it. I was able to develop compassion. I was able to see through it and come to the seed state bottom line of all of that stuff. Okay, so in the end, it was beneficial in a way, you could say. It's not an experience that anybody wants to go through. Okay, rape is a horrible thing. It's very, it's not done out of love and compassion. Let's face it. It's, it's a terrible thing to have to endure. Because during that time, you're feeling that your life is at stake. I mean, like I said, I had somebody break in and had a knife to my throat. My daughter was in the bed next to me. I mean, it's a terrible thing to have to go through even once, and doing it a multitude of these things happening, and kidnapped, and I mean, I went through all sorts of stuff in this lifetime. But in the end, again, through this dream thing, I saw, and it finally clicked. Oh my God. I wasn't able to complete it in that lifetime, when it was more, what do I want to say, more, I guess, esoteric or something. So this lifetime, it became a very concrete action, to face it. It's point blank in your face. Okay, so again, we get these opportunities to face things, to move forward in our own progression, and it may not always come as you think it will. Okay, so I just wanted to share that story, that in the end, that it did complete. I was able to develop compassion and to see that these people were driven to do what they were doing. They were living in a hell realm. To be able to continue to feed on people like they were doing. Okay, so you're able to, at that point, see that I'm able to get out of this. They're not. They're driven. They're in a hell realm. Okay, and so in seeing that from that different perspective, from a higher perspective, instead of the woe is me and why me and the continued drama, when you can see from the higher perspective of it and you see that they are driven and they're already in a hell realm, and also seeing that in PTSD the only one that continued to abuse myself was myself. The action happened, yes, an action happened once, but you continue to play it. You continue to play. So you are continuing to victimize yourself. Okay? And you finally go, well, that's brilliant. Okay? Yes, it happened. It was an event, but why to continue to play this and victimize myself? So again, it takes being willing to see through an action and getting to a seed state about it to move forward in your own journey. This is not to let people off the hook and to say, oh, poor them, that are abusing people, that are raping and murdering and, whatever abuse they're doing. This is not to say what they did is okay and I understand and poor them, and no, they need to again get a handle on their actions and see the pain that they are causing others through their own actions. But again, to get out of your own pain cycle, it takes being willing to really look at things deeply rather than the surface continuing projections, those continued projections. Okay. So again, we are drawn back into family. Sometimes we choose them, and sometimes karma places us in places that would be the best for our growth. Okay. So you continue to be placed in families that are, how do I want to say it, fitting your energetic level, okay, your energetic level that would afford an opportunity to change that energetic level, okay. So yeah, it all has to do with energy and your consciousness, where you are in consciousness. Yes, some can choose where they're coming back to, and others are not. They don't choose it. They're drawn by specifics of their energy cycle and what it is that they're working on, what they need to learn. Okay, you're going to have to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes if you have been abusive. Like I said, these ones like Nityananda or Trump that are, so negative, they are going to have a lot of very hard births coming up. And on the other side, they're going to be in a hell realm for some time, okay? So as long as you are in that ego form, you continue to separate more yourself from God, and you are in this isolation, okay? It's not. They think they've ruled the roost while they're here, and they're going to find out really something different when they leave the form. So that's why I say people that are doing these ignorant things, they have a very, very hard time coming up for them in the next birth, in their next births that they take, and even on the other side. Okay. Again, it's grace that we are in these corporeal forms, that they can't do a whole lot of damage before this form, the spirit leaves this form. Okay, and then we get, to come back into another form and continue our journey to try to rectify and to learn and to experience. Okay, so I hope this hasn't confused the issue more. Yeah, it's not pleasant to come back and talk about going through multitude of rapes. Okay. Not something fun, not something one wants to do. And like I said, even one time can be enough to really wreak havoc in somebody's life. But this was going numerous times. And again, it was to get me to focus and to get to the seed state of these happenings. Okay. To find out, number one, we are not these bodies. What happened to in rape happens to this form. We are not this form. We are spirit. So you have to come to that realization that nothing can truly touch spirit. It touches the mental aspect. And when one is attached to a form, mentally attached to a form, then you take on these crises, you take on these you just take on all this drama, okay? And so that's what the journey's about, to find out that you are not this physical form, you are spirit. Okay, nothing can touch spirit. True liberation is being liberated from the mind. Okay, when you are liberated from the mind and it's quiet, there's no more mind spin, there's no more attachment to form, then this mind spin ends, and one enters that peace that passes understanding. It's talked in the Bible. Okay, you've earned the pearl of great price, and the pearl is created how? Through that suffering, those irritations of sand that get in a shell and they still try to cover it over with something, okay, to get away from that suffering. Well, you have to see what that suffering is, okay, that in the end can create this pearl, which is of great price when you get to the bottom of it and you find out what has caused your suffering, what you are holding in place by your own mentation and drama. Okay, so this went off in a lot more areas than I thought it was going to, but that's the way spirit works, It opens the door, you walk through, and then, sometimes I'm surprised at what comes out. Okay. It's not something, when you get to this point, again, you're in flow with the universe. And if there's something that someone needs to hear many times, it'll just come out. Okay. So hopefully this has helped somebody along the line to understand their own journey, and, that we are gifted these opportunities to grow, to learn compassion, to learn, that spirit, we are spirit, we are not these forms, okay? So I'm going to leave this here. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for your question, and I'll see you online. Aho.